Representative Eric Swalwell of California, under oath, had to admit on at least 5 occasions that former President Donald Trump asked people to be peaceful on January 6th. Information the January 6th committee buried during their TV trial. Vice President Kamala Harris refuses to tell why she is so unpopular, but said it doesn't matter because Biden is popular. And Elon Musk provides free internet to Palestine so long as it's not being used by Hamas to attack Israel. Thank you so much for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps me out, so thank you so much. And don't miss out on today's earlier interview with show favorite Colonel Douglas McGregor. His military insight on why Turkey will likely prepare to attack Israel was extremely insightful. The annual Republican Jewish Coalition was just held Saturday night, and it was one of the most eventful nights of the year. Unlike the recent Republican primary debates, we saw Trump step into the same room as his opponents. Right before Trump was set to speak, former Vice President Mike Pence announced that he has decided to drop out of the presidential race. He said, "This is still your time, even though it's not his time." While other candidates such as DeSantis and Nikki Haley complimented Pence for his achievement following the announcement, Trump ignored it completely. During Trump's anticipated speech, he claimed the attack on Israel would never have happened had he been elected president. He stated Joe Biden's weakness caused the attack on Israel. Everywhere he goes, Biden's weakness provokes war and death. Because as history shows, evil only respects one thing: unyielding strength. House Speaker Mike Johnson's speech also stole the spotlight as he credited God for his election and claimed the United States will stand like a rock for Israel. He stated, "It's no accident that my first resolution was for Israel, and my first trip was to come and be with you. I want everybody to know where we stand." Johnson also took this special moment to respond to the White House for considering a ceasefire with Hamas to exchange hostages. He said, "There will be a ceasefire only when Hamas ceases to threaten Israel," which will most likely be never, right? Now, after the event ended, the chairman for the National Republican Senatorial Committee, Senator Steve Daines, called on everyone in the presidential race to drop out and go behind Donald Trump with their support. He stated, "Because it's clear President Trump is going to be the nominee for Republican for president, the sooner we coalesce around him, the better it's going to be." Now, despite this information, it doesn't look like anyone else is going to be dropping out anytime soon, but they'll drop out when their dollar donations drop too low. So that will be coming. As the election inches forward, CBS News reporter Bill Whitaker caught Vice President Kamala Harris off guard when asking about her sinking popularity. Now, I would expect this from Fox News, not CBS, but here's what happened. When he asked Harris why she is so unpopular among Democrat donors as a backup plan for Joe Biden, she responded awkwardly, "Because Joe Biden is very much alive and running for re-election. I frankly, in my head, do not have time for parlor games when we have a president who is running for re-election." So basically, she shrugged off the question and says that it's not that she's unpopular, it's that Joe Biden is so popular that she couldn't raise money to be president even if she wanted to. Now, many Democrats want a clear answer from her. What are you going to do if you remain vice president? What are you going to do if you become president? Now, let me know in the comments down below. Do you want to see Vice President Kamala Harris become the next president of the United States of America? She's most likely to be, basically put into office if something were to happen to Joe Biden versus being elected. But please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Former President Donald Trump has finally announced just how expensive it's become to have all of these witch hunt lawsuits and indictments. During a rally in Iowa, Trump stated, "I have $100 million in legal fees. At least I have good lawyers, because you can spend $100 million and have lousy lawyers too. It happens." But even with good lawyers, you can't always win every battle. For example, a federal judge just ruled against Trump and has reinstated a gag order in his case involving election interference. The judge dismissed Trump's First Amendment claims, stating that protecting the proceedings from outside interference precedes his right to free speech. To date, gag orders have been placed on Trump in 2 of his current trials, which has led to accusations of unconstitutional conduct against the Biden administration. But I'd like to know from you down below, is gagging the most popular person running for president election interference? Is that treading on his First Amendment rights to free speech? Or is this just part of going through these indictments to see whether he's guilty or not? Let me know your thoughts down below. Now, speaking of Trump's lawyers, Trump's Colorado January 6 presidential ballot lawsuit had Democrat Representative Eric Swalwell eating humble pie on national TV. For 2 years, Eric Swalwell has said that Donald Trump called for violence and attacking the Capitol and the police on January 6th, and that he deserved to go to jail. Well, today, Swalwell had to review the former president's speech where he called for people to peacefully and patriotically go to the Capitol. He also had to read at least 3 tweets where Trump asked people to not be violent, but to be peaceful. He then had to watch a video of Donald Trump calling for people to protect the police, to be peaceful, and to leave the Capitol. When asked what all of this meant, Swalwell said, "Well, it appears Donald Trump was asking people to be peaceful." Can you believe that? This guy had to admit out loud that he at least 5 times called for people to be peaceful. Now, much of this was buried during the January 6th Select Committee put together by Nancy Pelosi and filled with Trump-hating Democrats and 2 Trump-hating Republicans. They openly admitted, "We hate Donald Trump." They then buried this information, and Eric Swalwell went on Twitter and on national TV over and over and over and over again saying that he called for violence, that he wanted this attack, that he was trying to interrupt Congress. And now he had to say under oath, or else he goes to jail himself. Well, it appears that Trump over and over and over again was actually asking people to be peaceful. Now, I didn't know some of this. They buried this information. They've kept this from the American people, and you better believe it was all on purpose. As tensions glare across the sea, back at home, migrants from Iran and Syria are sneaking their way in to the United States of America, according to a new report put out by U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Breitbart News also reported that the sources claimed 150 migrants from these countries crossed into the United States in October alone. On top of this, there's no real preparation for the inflow from these at-risk countries. The source stated, "We are receiving no advance warning of the arrival of special interest migrants from regions with any specificity. We are left to sort through the grab bag of migrants in small and large groups to figure out who is in the group and why they are coming to America." Pretty crazy. Now, one fact is clear. The United States is not doing a good job of deterring attacks on our allies or even on our own military bases. Just last week, I reported that the United States finally destroyed an ammunition facility in Syria in response to bases being attacked over and over and over again. However, a new report indicates that the United States military bases were attacked on multiple occasions over the weekend, which means this light touch military response isn't working, and it wouldn't shock me if in the near future I'm reporting on more military activity in the region. Elon Musk of Twitter has just controversially enabled Starlink Internet to internationally recognize aid organizations in Gaza, Palestine. This after Representative AOC called it unacceptable for 2.2 million people to have their internet shut off. While this action sounds nice and likely has good intentions, critics have noticed that Hamas will likely use these internet connections to hide from Israel or attack Israel. In Elon's defense, he's under a tremendous amount of pressure, but he said that he will be monitoring the internet activity, and if he sees that it's used for anything other than humanitarian purposes, he will turn it off, just like he did in Ukraine. In terms of Ukraine, Republican Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell appeared next to Ukraine's ambassador as he championed more U.S. taxpayer money to Ukraine. He stated, "Enemies abroad will be watching closely and waiting for America to falter. Only our concrete and credible support can deter our adversaries in the future and restore security." So Mitch McConnell wants even more of your hard-earned taxpayer money to go to Ukraine, and he wants it tied to Israel because he's terrified it won't go through if it isn't tied to Israel. However, new House Speaker Mike Johnson wants money for Ukraine, money for Israel, and money for Taiwan to be 3 separate bills. He said we must bifurcate these bills and vote on them separately. Now, is he crazy for doing this, or is this the exact right move? Every bill should be an individual bill that American representatives vote on with the public watching them, and not these jammed together, written by donors and corporate interests and lobbyists, or should it be voted on individually? Let me know your thoughts down below. Now, before you go, I want to remind you that you are amazing. You know it. You know I know it. So believe it, baby. You're amazing. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and stopping by. Please give this video a like and hit that subscribe button so that we can keep growing this and learning the truth together. Now, before you go, check out that interview with Colonel Douglas Macgregor. He's my most popular guest, and his insight on Turkey's next move was terrifying, insightful, and super interesting. So do not miss it. Also, check out this video. Thanks so much, and I will see you on the next video.